Knowing your visa situation, here's how to choose which states give you the best shot at success. Number 3 is knowing state by state where to focus your efforts and which state is going to be best for you. Note that not all 12 states offer the same opportunities. Some are gold mines, others might even be traps. Here's how to choose wisely. I've organized these into tiers so that you can best organize your efforts. Your tier 1 states are what I would consider to be your best bets. Illinois is the gold standard. In this case, the experience required is 3 or more years of practice abroad. The pathway length is only 2 years of supervised practice. The special advantage here is what's known as the ombudsman program. An ombudsman is someone whose job it is to help you navigate complicated government processes. Think of it like having a personal guide through the licensing maze. If a lot of these terms and things like that sound really confusing, this might be one to put near the top of your list. In addition to that, the market size is very large with many opportunities. The reason why it's tier 1 is that they hired that ombudsman, a full-time person whose only job it is to help international doctors through this process. Florida is another one of the tier 1 programs. The experience required is 4 or more years of practice abroad, and the pathway length is only 2 years of supervised practice. The special advantage here is that Florida is a huge state with lots of hospitals. The market size is very large, especially when you consider that there's a very large aging population. For those of you that don't live in the United States, Florida is famous for the retirement communities. It's a very sunny place with great weather where a lot of retirees go to spend their golden years. The reason why Florida is tier 1 is that there's so many opportunities that you have and there's lots of choices. Tennessee is another one of the tier 1 programs. The experience required is 3 or more years of practice abroad, and the pathway length is also 2 years of supervised practice. The special advantage here is that it's the longest track record, and it's a proven system. The market size may not be super large, but it is growing. The reason why it's tier 1 is that they've worked out all the kinks and have success stories. Massachusetts is the final of what I would consider to be the tier 1 programs at this stage of the game. They only require 1 or more year abroad of practice. This is the lowest bar of any of the programs that we have on this list. For the pathway length, however, is about 4 years total through 3 different steps. The special advantage is that there are major medical centers and teaching hospitals. The market size is large with prestigious institutions. The reason why it's tier 1 is that there's multiple pathways and high quality training environments. Next on our list are the tier 2 states. These are good, but have some limitations. Virginia is the first up. The experience required is 5 or more years of practice abroad, which is a pretty high bar. Like many of the others, their pathway length is 2 years of unsupervised practice. The limitation is that you must work in shortage areas and only primary care or psychiatry. Now, in fairness, in practice, this is true of many of the other states. However, this is actually written into the rules for this particular state. The reason why I consider it to be tier 2 is that it's got high requirements for experience required and there's relatively limited scope. Idaho is next on our list of tier 2 states. The experience required is 3 or more years of practice abroad, and the pathway length is 3 years of supervised practice, which is longer than most. The advantage is that it's got immigration-friendly policies. The reason why it's tier 2 is that Idaho is a small state with relatively limited opportunities, relative to the other states at least. Iowa is next on our list. The experience required is 5 or more years, which is again a pretty high bar. The pathway length is also 3 years of supervised practice, which is longer than most. The focus here is that it's heavily rural. The reason why it's tier 2 is that it's got high requirements and a relatively long commitment. The final states on our list are emerging opportunities, the first of which is Washington. Washington is converting their successful pilot program to a permanent program. If you'll recall from our previous discussion, a permanent program allows you to get a full license eventually. It has a track record of the 40 initial doctors that were successfully placed, the advantage here being that it's a proven model moving to permanent status. Louisiana is next on our list. This is a brand new program that started in 2024. The advantage is that the hospitals are very enthusiastic about participating. The model here is that it will give you a full license with 2-year restriction instead of a provisional license then leading to a full license. Wisconsin is another state to keep our eyes on. The law passed in 2024 and they're just implementing it now. The advantage is that it's a Midwest location with good opportunities. I grew up in Minnesota, which is a neighboring state. For details, they're still working out some of the specific requirements. Overall, if you want to practice in one of these states, your best strategy is to qualify for multiple tier 1 states, then choose based on specific job opportunities when you're ready to apply. If you're a medical student or a doctor preparing for either the USMLEs or COMLEX or one of your medical board exams, then be sure to sign up for our free 14-step program where we'll walk you through the most efficient ways for you to improve your score in a short period of time. And if you're interested in getting there faster, be sure to book a free call with our team where we'll break down what it is that's holding you back and, if it makes sense, explain how it is that we can help you to get there more efficiently.